Let's just do something a little fun today. Hey there, welcome to my channel. This is Foggy Fiction, and I am Haley. I'm a writer living with mental illness, doing my best to show that mental health does not dictate talent or worth, and hoping to encourage others to chase their dreams. Gaming has been a huge part of my life for as long as I could remember, so I thought today it would be fun to list my favorite video games that were based off of books. Let's get to it. Number one on my list, though they are in no particular order, is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I specified this one because I haven't played the first two games, though they are all inspired by the Witcher books, by Andrzej Sapkowski. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry. I put a couple hundred hours into this game at least. I'm pretty sure I'm way over that now. And it's definitely in my top 3 favorite video games of all time. Geralt of Rivia is actually my most favorite video game character of all time, and I have a huge crush on him. Yes, the video game version. Though I will say Cavill did crush it. I was very concerned that he wouldn't do it justice, but he crushed it. But video game Geralt has my heart first. When I learned that the games were inspired by books, I went out and bought the first 2 in reading order in the series, because the reading order is not the same as the print order, apparently. I haven't read them yet. I did also recently download the graphic novel version, so I might be reading that first. We'll see. If you haven't already played the game, I highly recommend it. Just go into it knowing that you are going to play this for many hours, and the replayability of this game is pretty great. I've beat it once, almost beat it a second time, and I'm working through my 3rd playthrough, and I've been working through my 3rd playthrough and plan to actually beat it this time, but I'm doing all of the little side things this time around. Every little question mark on the map. I just finished going through almost all of the question marks on Skellige. If you've already played this, you know what I mean with that. I had to step away for a bit after doing that, so I'll pick it back up again and finally do every single question mark in the game. And I'm curious also, if you have played the game, do you go with Triss or do you go with Yen? I always go with Yen. Number 2, and again in no particular order, is The Wolf Among Us. This was the first game from Telltale that I ever played, and I was in love with it from the first trailer. It wasn't until years later that I learned that it was actually based off of a comic book series called Fables by Bill Willingham. And when I learned that, I immediately started buying and devouring them. I think I'm 7 or 8 volumes into the series now, and it is so good. Probably my favorite comic book series, other than maybe The Walking Dead, which also has a Telltale video game, though it is not on this list. It's good. It's really good. It's just not among my favorites. So, sorry, Walking Dead. I have a hard time playing those. I watch my boyfriend play them. The Wolf Among Us 2 is supposed to be happening, but Telltale games shut down, and then they were revived, and then there was some controversy around the revival, which I don't know the legitimacy about any of that controversy, just what I read. But, you know, then the pandemic happened, and they're still saying that The Wolf Among Us 2 is happening, but as of right now, we don't really know much. So I'm trying not to get my heart broken, so I'm not clinging to the idea that we will get a Wolf Among Us 2 too closely. Either way, the game is amazing if you like Telltale style, and the comics are awesome. Number 3, and I'm grouping these together because they are very similar and I feel that they can be grouped together, are the Nancy Drew, Sherlock Holmes, and Agatha Christie games. I grew up playing these with my mom, and it is such a fond memory, and I still love these games. I haven't read any of the books, but they are on my TBR list. Of the 3, Nancy Drew is my favorite, mostly because I played more of those than Sherlock Holmes or Agatha Christie. Every time they had a new one at Walmart, my mom and I would buy it up and play it, usually together. Sometimes, though, we would have different saves going. We did that with a lot of games on the computer. So I played more of Nancy Drew, and it's just sentimental. Fun fact, also, you can find basically all of the Nancy Drew games on Steam right now, and I don't know what has been keeping me from buying them. So eventually I'm going to buy them, download them, and play them all again. And the ones that I haven't played yet. Number 4, the Metro games. These are based off of the Metro books by, I'm going to butcher this, Dmitry Glukovsky. I hope I'm saying that right. I haven't read the books or played the games. Why is it on the list, you ask? But I did obsessively watch my boyfriend play the games, and they were so good. I also added the books to my TBR because of that. These are not games that I plan to play. I'm not good with scary, spooky type games. I get too nervous and I wouldn't be good at it, so it wouldn't be fun for me. But they are amazing and they do happen to be based on some books, so they're on the list. And number 5, American McGee's Alice and Alice Madness Returns. These are inspired by Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, though the games give a very dark twist on it, which I love. I played American McGee's Alice in high school, another one that I played with my mom. We had 2 different saves going. She actually beat it before I did. And I still have that copy of the game that we played. And there's even a tiny picture of me dressed as that version of Alice in one of the high school yearbooks for Halloween. It was either freshman or sophomore year. Alice Madness Returns was everything that I hoped it would be, and then some. I loved it so much, and it was great being able to play it on PlayStation as opposed to PC. American McGee's Alice was PC, and then Madness Returns I played on PlayStation. So it was different. I was nervous about the jump, but it was really, really well. It worked really, really well. And if you follow American McGee on Instagram, I do, you might know that they've been working on a 3rd game, Alice Asylum, and I'm freaking excited. And this is actually a case where I have read the book. I've read Alice and Through the Looking Glass. So those are my top 5. I will also mention that I love the BioShock games. I actually just replayed the first one last month, I think it was. And those were inspired on the works and ideas of a handful of people, including some authors. There was also a game called Parasite Eve way back when on PS1 that was inspired by a book. It was a really hard game and I never got very far into it, but I watched my older brother play most of it and it always stuck with me. I didn't include either of these on the main list because BioShock, while it is one of my favorite games, the entire series, I'm going to play the second one again soon. It was more inspired by the ideas of several works, and Parasite Eve, I didn't see the entire game, nor did I read the book. I still thought they were both worth mentioning, though. So yeah, that's my list. I just thought I would do something a little fun like that today, mostly because I didn't have anything else prepared. What games have you played that you absolutely love that are based on books? I am always looking for new games to play, so let me know your favorites. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're interested in following my very clumsy journey as a writer living with mental illness, and enjoy the happy moments.